America, you need to ask yourself a question. When did we get so weak? And this is a question that basically is asked of the so very few and loud and widely broadcast who can't stand text with capital letters. It triggers them and makes them feel bad. When did we become so weak that a capital letter makes us want to run and hide? When did we become so weak, you so very few, loud and widely broadcast, that we can't hold a conversation with someone else that has a different opinion than we do, because, well, it hurts our feelings. The reason I say so very few and widely broadcast is because even if these triggered, what they call them nowadays, snowflakes, what we would have called pansy-ass pussies when I was a kid, even if there are 10 million of them in the United States, sounds like a lot, but that's just a drop in the bucket of 300 and some odd million people. But the media picks up the story because, oh well, seems pretty important, and then they try to broadcast it as some sort of global problem, some sort of systemic issue. And I'll tell you this, it's not. There are a lot more people like me out here that really don't give a flying rat's behind whether or not you talk about something that I disagree with you, or send me a text with a bunch of all caps. I'll tell you, no need to yell at me, man. I can read. There are tens of millions, hundreds of millions of hard-working, dedicated to their family, dedicated to their communities, dedicated to the strength of being a human being, who aren't subject to this baloney about how you feel about me makes me feel bad. But we don't get any press because, well, we're not interesting enough. Going to work, taking care of your family, paying your bills, going to your churches, going down to the local VFW, all the rest of it, it's not sensational enough. That's not significant enough. So they want to present this so very few college students, college-educated white women, they break it into little groups so that they can show that somehow it's some sort of global problem. And even the right-wing talk show hosts, they're like, what are we coming to as an American people? This is not what we as an American people are coming to. It's a very few out of 300 and some odd million. Even if, like I said, even if it's 10 million, that's just a drop in the bucket. Go on out there, Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity and the rest of you, with your small groups and insulated, because you are. You don't hang out with, hardworking average Americans in the local cafe, except as an excursion, not in a day-to-day fashion. What they need to do is put something like this out there. hardworking Americans saying, you know what, it's all bullshit. It's like they take one episode of some rogue cop that goes nuts and kills some poor black kid, and they try to say, well, it's a global problem, it's a systemic problem. No, it's not. The vast majority of interactions with the police, and there are hundreds of thousands of them every day in the United States, end up peacefully. No one gets hurt. Everybody goes home. No one's been abused. But that's not what they want you to think. They want you to think it's some sort of systemic you know. Hey, gotta get my ratings, brother. These little tapes I make, I really don't care if anybody watches them or not. I don't care how you feel about them. It doesn't injure me if you disagree. You know, and if you want to have a discussion about that disagreement, then fine, let's have it. Have at it. I'm good. Maybe it's because my self-worth, my feeling of value and honor of my own being is not predicated on whether or not you come back at me with all caps or not. You know, we're not doing them kids, them people that have these sorts of weaknesses any favor by making a big deal out of it. Just reinforces their weakness instead of telling them, look, don't be such a pussy. You know, okay, well, now I've offended half the women in the country. Don't care. It's a word that my generation uses to describe someone who's so weak that they can't stand up for themselves. We'll say pansy. Now I've offended every gay person in the country, I guess, because they took over that word was used derogatorily to gay people. I don't freaking care if you're gay. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're American Indian. It don't matter to me. They'd like to make you think, and now I'm in the majority, honestly enough. I'm not one of that so very few widely broadcast. I'm one of the majority. We really don't care. We don't care enough about you. We care about our family, our country, our duty, our honor, our responsibility. That's what we care about.